Introducing the new and improved Generation 5 H2O Neutralizer, with our new 9-stage locking ball valve design. This presentation outlines the design changes to our Generation 5 device, along with setup for operation in field chlorination and dechlorination. The Generation 5 Model 3M now incorporates a 9-stage locking ball valve, for control of water flow through the device. This locking ball valve permits adjustment of water flow through the device while it is in operation. Previous generations of the H2O neutralizer employed a series of 4 insertable orifice rings, of varying sizes, to adjust the device for the flow rate needed for each job. This required device operation be stopped and the device broken down, to change the internal orifice rings, in order to adjust water flow through the main barrel. This new design allows operators to adjust water flow through the device, after it is set up and operating, providing a finer degree of flow control with the 9-stage locking ball valve. This new generation design permits the adjustment of main-line water flow while the device is in operation. With its new on-the-fly water flow control, this system permits operators to set the device up once, and adjust main-line water flow while the device is in operation. This new 9-stage locking ball valve design gives the device more precise control of water flow, without repeatedly stopping and starting to change orifice rings. The H2O neutralizer is a chemical injector that employs an internally generated vacuum, to draw chemical into the device and inject it into the mainline water flow. The chemical then mixes and disperses throughout the water volume being treated. The device requires no outside power, other than the flow of water through the device, to generate vacuum needed for chemical injection. The device is constructed of a main cylinder or barrel, with a 9-stage locking ball valve to control mainline water flow through the device. Attached to this cylinder is a precision-machined brass block, with a specially designed venturi orifice, through which a portion of the mainline water flow is diverted. This diverted flow generates vacuum in the venturi block, that draws chemical into the device, that is then be injected into the mainline water flow. The device is connected to a supply of water, under pressure, with the proper outflow connection, to assure the necessary pressure differential needed within the device to generate vacuum. A supply of chemical solution is set up next to the device. A supply line is then connected to the venturi port on the block, that is used to draw in chemical and inject it into the mainline flow. Water flow is established through the device, at a rate that gives the venturi enough bypass pressure to generate the needed vacuum, to draw the proper amount of chemical into the device. Chemical is then injected into the mainline water flow, to mix and treat as needed. To put the H2O neutralizer into operation, it must be connected to a water supply with a reliable minimum flow of 1 gallon per minute. The outflow side must flow free, so that no pressure buildup occurs on the downstream end, that would equalize the pressure differential, within the device, needed for the venturi to establish vacuum. In dechlorination applications, the discharge hose should be no longer than 20 feet, with free flow of water at the point of discharge. For chlorination applications, the device must be connected in such a way, as no pressure buildup will occur at the point of water flow, into the system being chlorinated. To operate the device, connect it to its source of water supply and establish flow, through device. Once water flow is established, adjust the locking ball valve until full vacuum can be heard, in the venturi block chemical injection port. Once full vacuum is achieved, connect a chemical supply line to the chemical injection port, from the chemical supply. Once the device is set up and operating, adjust the lateral bypass chemical control valve, to the flow rate of chemical needed for the job at hand. Sample water, exiting the device and adjust appropriately, to achieve the chemical level needed to complete the current project. If you encounter fluctuation of water supply flow rate, while completing your job, simply open or close the locking ball valve, as needed, to re-establish full vacuum and necessary chemical injection. When setting up the H2O neutralizer, proper setup is key to a successful project. To set up device properly, you will need to have the following equipment on site to complete this process successfully. Setting up the device for field chlorination will require a tap into a source supply of water. A backflow preventer, to stop any superchlorinated water from flowing back into the water source. A test port, after the device, for measuring chemical levels needed for the job at hand. Isolation valves at the front and back end of the equipment setup. And a source of chemical supply, staged next to the neutralizer. Setup for field dechlorination is similar to that for field chlorination, with the exception that the device will be placed at the end of waterline, to neutralize chlorine residual used to prepare the line for testing and certification. Setting up the device for field dechlorination will require a tap into a source supply of water, a backflow preventer, to stop any superchlorinated water from flowing back into the water supply, isolation valves at the front and back end of the equipment setup, and a source of chemical supply staged near the neutralizer. The difference in setup for field dechlorination will be that a third isolation valve will be needed, in the front end of where the backflow preventer remains, with valves before and after BFP. On the back end of the line, another isolation valve is connected, before the neutralizer, instead of after the device, as used in field chlorination. Again, once everything is set up and operating, adjust chemical flow to the level needed for the job at hand. The new Generation 5H2O neutralizer offers greater flexibility than ever before. Operating at flow rates of 1 gallon per minute to over 1200 gallons per minute, this new design allows adjustment of the main barrel water flow rate after the device is set up and operating. No more breaking down of equipment like that required to change flow rates with the orifice ring design. The H2O neutralizer is still your best choice for quickly and successfully completing field chlorination and dechlorination projects. Give Measurement Technologies a call today to learn more about how our Generation 5 design can simplify your waterline treatment and certification projects and reduce your cost of chemical.